Hello everyone, so it's Sunday and it's actually a very kind of rainy, bleak Sunday here in Scotland. And I have to say, I've been mentioning this in some of my vlogs lately, that I've been struggling a little bit to get in. By the way, I've got some hot water here, which I'll come back to in a second. But I've been struggling to just get some videos in daylight. And I'm also not being out and about as much at the moment, just because it is winter, I'm in hibernation mode, and also just from my own energy level point of view, it's just I can't be out and about all of the time sort of thing. So I thought it would be quite a good idea if we spend some time planning the next month ahead together. Now, I've been planning a bit more recently because the more, or should I say, the older I get, the more responsibility I have, and I have to plan now. But it's not just about planning, it's about intentionality with my life overall, but also just having intentionality with my time, how I spend my money, how I'm showing up in the world, who I spend time with, the activities I spend my time doing, like all of that sort of thing. And I just find that by just sitting down at the start of the month and just sort of mapping out what I want the next month to look like, I just find that it just helps me get set up for the month, really. So it's kind of planning, but it's soft planning. Like I say, it's a Sunday here, I've got a little cup of tea, I'm sat at my desk here, and I'm going to do a wee bit of that. So if you want, you can hang out with me while I do that. This is unstructured. I don't even really have a specific method of how I do this because one, I'm not a type A person, and two, I've kind of only just started this last month and it seemed to work quite well for me. So I've got my Filofax here. So what I'm going to start with is, first of all, I've got my Chic mug. This is originally from TK Maxx. What was I going to say about that? Now, I do have mugs that are available on my channel called Getting My Chic Together, and they're available to buy if you want to buy. I specifically chose a rather large mug for this because if you watched my vlog yesterday, you will know that I treated myself at the House of Brig. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I think it's House of Brig, down at Bow House in St Monans, and they have a beautiful selection of teas and lots of lovely products. But what this is basically you stir this in and it makes like a really luxury cup of tea. So I wanted the biggest mug possible that I have available so that I could get the most out of my lollipop infusion. That's what it's called. So it says lollipop infusion. Infuse in a cup of hot water the fleurs d'Ivoire are combining aromatic plants and honey for a comforting herbal tea. Just with how it is today, like outside, and how I'm feeling, just like it's Sunday, it's low vibe, I've got my candles on, I've got my planner out, like this just sounds like the nice addition. So let's open it up and stir this in while the water is still hot. They actually have a few flavours of these, and I don't actually think that they make them in the shop, because when I spoke to her yesterday, it seemed like they were waiting on more coming in the post or something like that. So I'm not sure exactly where these are made. But I did say this yesterday. I think it would be a lovely little stocking filler, especially if someone's not into sweets and chocolates and things like that. Right, so I'm just trying to unpack this without breaking it or doing something silly in the process. The pressure, especially doing this on camera. It's a little bit sticky, so I'm trying to just unstick it basically. And also not get sticky fingers in the process. Right, I managed that. Maybe not very elegantly, but I did. So, I think that is stuck to that. So I think I might just have to put the paper in. And like that. Yeah, I'm putting the paper in because I'm thinking, oh, I should put the paper in. But then I'm like, if it was a tea bag, you would put the paper in. Maybe that's how it's meant to work. I'm just going to give it a little stir. I don't know what I'm doing here. I very much feel like a novice. Oh. I'll see if I can get that. Right, so there we are. We're taking the paper out. It's off the stick. And now I'm just going to give it a little stir. I can't really smell much yet. But it is starting to, like, what's the word? Disintegrate? And all the bits are coming to the top, like the nice one. This was the one she recommended. I think they had an elderflower one as well. Right, let's give it a sip and see how we get on. Oh, it smells lovely. That's very, very nice indeed. Lovely. Right. Okay, so I'll put that to the side for a second because part of my little planning thing is I thought I'd make this into a little ritual. So I'm going to apply some of my La Vie en Fleur hand cream, which is the same as my perfume. And I'm just going to put that on because I thought it would be a nice way to plan and start this video. Oh my goodness, between the tea and this, I'm just like spoiled here. This is so nice. Right, let's make a start with the actual planning. Now, I think in order to go forwards, it's always nice to reflect on what was and what came of November, especially given that was the first month where I planned. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to use this while I'm talking just as a little pointer. I found this in my handbag. I think I've got one in every handbag. Why, I don't know. In my head, I tell myself that I keep in my handbag just to remind myself to keep the magic in my life alive. So if I'm pointing that, that's why I'm doing that. So anywho, right, this is how I plan. And I say plan with the loosest possible thing behind it because I'm not a natural planner. I'm a kind of free-flowing, go with the flow, see how things turn out kind of person. But this is the one I use. It's a Filofax. I've had this for many years now. And I was thinking going into next year, do I get a new one? But do you know what? I actually think there is something quite chic about having something that's getting a little bit kind of crusty or a little bit, do you know what I mean, where it actually looks used. So maybe I'll keep it for another year, maybe get another one the next year. Sorry, that's part of the plant that's came out the side of the cup. Oh dear. It's very nice. Right, so what I did last month was, this is how I plan. I say plan, I'm like, I took the calendar for the month. So this is obviously December. So this is what I'm looking at. And for the month of November, I basically just started to slot things in here and there with not much method to it at all. So if you're looking for some planning advice, this is probably the wrong channel. This is me just sorting my brain out and using you as a sounding board. And in actual fact, I'm hoping that one of you lovely people will actually come up with some kind of framework that will actually be better than this for me. So if you know of anything, do let me know. So one thing I did start with in November, which I would like to carry forward into December, is I had a word for the month. Now in November, my word for the month was devotion. The reason I picked devotion was I actually kind of wanted it as being like a sort of rebellion, I suppose, against the word discipline. Like, we have been hearing this word discipline for so many years now, and I think it's got a very kind of bro hustle culture ring to it. And I think to myself, when has anybody ever had a positive experience being disciplined? Never. So anyway, I feel like a lot of the habits that I've implemented over my life this year, but especially over the past month or so, especially around my showering rituals and all of that, it's more coming from a place of self-care, looking after myself and devoting time to me and being my best self. Not I'm going to discipline myself and be some kind of bro, if you know what I mean. I'm just oh no, it's not for me. So I think that word worked very, very well for November. So going into December, there's one word that definitely comes to mind for me this month. And that word is definitely creativity. In fact, I'm just going to write it down, not on the calendar, but just I've got a piece of paper to the side here so that I remember to slot that in. Creativity. And the reason I'm using that word this month is that I really want this month to be focused on nurturing my creativity, focusing a lot on this channel as well, doing better with the channel. I think I'm doing well as it is, but I also just sometimes feel like maybe I didn't get enough shots that set the mood for the video, and these sorts of things. And maybe I'm being quite tough on myself, but it's just something I want to get better at, and I want to learn how to use CapCut and things like that as well. When it comes to creativity, it also reminds me I have got a little list of things here that I want to nurture creativity, and I want to be intentional with my free time. So just before I started this video, I was watching on Netflix what do you call it? Squid Game's The Challenge. Great show, nothing wrong with it, that's absolutely fine. But going into, excuse me, into this month, I want to be watching things on like the Christie's and Sotheby's YouTube channel. I've got a specific course that I would like to do around management of fashion and luxury companies. I'm really looking forward to that. It's on Coursera, I think it's called. There's some things on LinkedIn Learning that I would like to do. I would like to also get another copy of The Creative Act as well, which is a book that I bought over the summer. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you will know that I accidentally left that book on the back pocket of an airplane and I lost it, and I've not bought it again since. The other thing I've got is a whole like suite of like kind of almost like short essays that my granny had collected for me from the Guardian newspaper, and I've had those on my shelf for years. I spent last night reading one of them, and it was about an interview with the Sex Pistols back in 1976, I think it was. Really interesting, and I just love when you read short things like that, how it takes you down these sort of creative like kind of rabbit holes. And I didn't know that Vivienne Westwood was so, like there was an actual direct connection with Vivienne Westwood and the Sex Pistols and things, and so I was kind of thinking, oh, I'd quite like to learn a bit more about that and do a bit more research into that. So that's what I like with these things. I like when I'm exposed to specific creative things. And the other thing is actually in St Andrews, I don't know if it's still there, but it was this month and I can't imagine why they would take it away. It's St Salvator's Quad in St Andrews. Along the kind of back wall under the shelter, they've almost got a kind of outdoor art exhibition on in there at the moment, and I spent a wee bit of my lunch break looking at some of that art over, I think it was maybe last week or the week before, but I kind of ran out of time and I'd like to take some time over a lunch break just to go and do that. So that's why I've sort of chosen creativity as my word for the month, and so we're leaning into that sort of word and that theme this month. Right, on a more practical level, what have I got? Right, so I like to think about when the month's actually starting. So it's really this week, to be honest, is the start of December. And what do I need to get done? So I'm not going to put this into the calendar yet. I've got a wee piece of paper here. This was a mind map I was creating earlier this week with my values on it, by the way. That's a whole other topic. But anyway, on the paper, I'm just going to write about things that actually need to be put into the calendar. So looking back at November, this is how we started the month. I had my medical appointment, which is actually going to be happening this week again. So again, it's not, when we're getting our chic together, it's not just all about how we look. We have to make sure that our health is in check as well. So I have my medical appointment. I will be getting my nails done this month, but unfortunately it's going to be later in the month because the lovely wax bar in St Andrews is having a makeover. So I'm looking forward to seeing that because I love the wax bar very much, but they do have these stools that are very uncomfortable, and I'm hoping they get nice chairs. So fingers crossed that that's how that works out. So anyway, the nails will be getting done. What I would also say as a reflection from November is that I do feel like I put too much into the first week of the month. I felt like I was running around St Andrews like Forrest Gump. I was going here, there and everywhere, all these different appointments. And so I just thought, I don't think I could start another month in that way. So I'm actually kind of glad that the nail appointment isn't the first week of the month anyway. So I have that. The other thing, I think last month felt quite full on at the start of the month because I had quite a lot of stuff to do with my car. You know, it was like the road tax, and then I had to get a new tyre fitted, I had the MOT and all of that stuff. So that all felt like quite a lot on top of my normal. So the other thing I need to make sure is I take the car for a wash. So I need to do a car wash as well. So I'm going to have that in here. The other thing I need to factor in is Christmas shopping. Now I'll probably do that in the first week because that will then fall under the Black Friday sales. I don't know about anybody else, but blimey, I am so overwhelmed with the amount of emails that I'm getting. Excuse me, I'm going to have a wee sip of this because I do actually want to enjoy it and not just have it for show on the video. That is rather lovely. What a treat. I've just swallowed those plants. I hope that's okay. I don't think I'm going to die from swallowing it. Yeah, I've been getting so overwhelmed with the amount of emails. It's like, sign up today before the sales start, exclusive this, exclusive that, 20% off this, 25% off that. I've never really noticed it before, but I'm just, this year I just feel like so bombarded, like in a way that it's almost making me like disengage with it entirely, because I'm just so like, I don't even know what sites to shop from. I'm just so, yeah. So anyway, the start of this month, I do want to get my Christmas shopping done. I'm going to actually just take a wee note of that, because I'm probably going to go to the White Company this year for my Christmas shopping. Now, what I will say is my approach to Christmas shopping is I tend to get everybody the same thing, but like in a different colour. So like usually at Christmas time, I'll just do an order from Fortnum and Mason's, or I'll do where else, like Selfridges, Liberty London. But actually I saw something in my head where I was like, I would like to get that from the White Company this year. The other thing I just also like to do at the start of the month is check in with myself around my Boots the Chemist sort of, I like to think of French pharmacy. We don't have a French pharmacy here, but if we did, this is the sorts of things I would be buying. So I'm going to put French pharmacy, and we'll just have to pretend that Boots the Chemist functions like a French pharmacy, which it does not, but it serves its purpose. So I do know that this month I want to get, I'm just laughing at myself because I hope you're following all of this, because I did tell you this is unstructured. Anyway, French pharmacy vibes. I want to get the Marvis toothpaste this month because I didn't get that last month, and I am actually missing that. I'm not needing a massive top up of things from Boots this month. Usually I spend about £50 in there, but I don't think I've got £50 worth of things to get. Marvis toothpaste. I need to get more of the Dove soap, the pink one. It's delightful. Love that. I've got my face wash. I've got a moisturiser. I might need a top up of a moisturiser. Yeah, I'll come back to that, but I don't think I'm really needing anything else, to be honest. I was actually going to be filming a monthly empties video, and actually I didn't even have many things to show you in terms of the empties, so I just feel like I'm maybe all good with that at the moment. Oh, that's one thing I would like to get, is more of the Soap and Glory exfoliating mitts, so that I've got like a few pairs of those. Those are exceptional. If you do get the chance, get the exfoliating mitts from there. That's a good one actually. So that will probably happen at the start of the month. I'll probably go to the pharmacy and get all of those bits. Then I also probably like to do a wee order for myself and get my things, like my disposable income things. So what I will probably do is go back through my phone and see things that I've been screenshotting. There is a pink bow kind of short cardigan. It's basically this pink fluffy cardigan. It's very cozy, and it's got a massive bow on it. It's from H&M and it's £27.99. So I know I want to get that. What else? I'm not sure. I'm not needing a great deal this month, because I felt like I got a lot this month. I felt with getting a lot of makeup and getting all of my kind of like clothing and stuff, I don't feel like I need a great deal. One thing I would like to get, which I'm just going to take a wee note of as well, is a diptyque candle, because if you haven't noticed already, like I do like the sort of candle relax vibe thing, and I do want to do a lot more of those types of reviews on my channel as well, on like kind of more like luxury products. So I want to put some of my budget aside for that. I think I'll get a Christmas one, but not a very big one, because once Christmas has passed, I do not want to be smelling Christmas scents. So I'll probably get a small diptyque Christmas candle. Hang on. And what I'll also say on that is that I am not going to do anything drastic Christmas decoration wise. I'm thinking a nice diptyque candle, and I would like to get, actually that's a good point, I would like to get some of the Lush Snow Fairy shower gel, so that when I'm doing my shower rituals, the Lush Fairy Snow, or Snow Fairy? I think it's called Snow Fairy. Snow Fairy shower gel is a bit of a Christmas tradition for me. And I do think that as a single woman who doesn't have children and isn't in a relationship, I think it actually is quite important to make sure that even in that circumstance, I'm still setting up like nice Christmas rituals, but also traditions as well. So I'm putting that on my list. The other thing I wanted to do was maybe get myself a Christmas advent calendar. I've been looking at these advent calendars since like August, I think. I'm Christmas candled out, or Christmas advent calendared out. And so much so that I got overwhelmed with that and just didn't get one of the beauty ones. I think I was going to go for the Space NK one, and then I think they sold out. So I'll know that for next year to get it in like August. So I think what I'll do is, I think I will treat myself to a Christmas advent calendar from Fortnum & Mason's. There's something else I want to get from Fortnum & Mason's for Christmas as well. So maybe just a wee Fortnum & Mason's order would be nice. So I've got Fortnum & Mason's calendar. I'll maybe just get a tea one or a chocolate one. They do have a tea and biscuit one as well. I'll decide. I'll have a think. And they also have this stocking that I want to get. I wanted to get that last year and I didn't get round to it. So I'm actually going to get the stocking as well. Right, that is me with my disposable income. So that's some bits and pieces that I'm going to get. I'm not going to go overboard this month because I do obviously have some Christmas shopping to do. So this month is not necessarily about me, which makes a change. Right, the other thing I'm aware of is that I have a hair appointment this month. So since I got my hair cut this month, I felt like that's something I want to get done continuously so that my hair just continues to look like chic even when I've literally just blow dried it. So I've got my hair appointment this month as well. I'm writing that down. Right. I feel like I've been going at 100 miles an hour. Let me just get a wee sip of tea here. This is meant to be slow and calming for you. You're meant to feel calm by the end of this. My mind's like a runaway train. Oh dear. Right. Oh, that is good. That is very good. I think because it's like honey, there's like a sweetness in it or something. Oh, I love this. That is very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, right. So in terms of inserting into the calendar, I do have little calendar markers now. So just looking back at November, Bowhouse Market weekend is a calendar, like what I would call anchor for me. Like I will be at Bowhouse and I just like to have that marked in there. I really enjoy going there when the market weekend is on. I like going and listening to live music and just kind of sitting with my Filofax and my journal and things like that. So that's become a monthly anchor. The other anchor that I added into that was that when it's a Bowhouse Market weekend, I will use one of the 111s. By the way, is anybody else thinking 11 skin? And it's actually 111 skin. It's just like, sounds like too much. Anyway, I'll probably use one of these face masks at that point. The reason I sort of align that with Bowhouse is just so that I know like to use it once a month, and once a month when it's Bowhouse Market weekend I also do a face mask. So it's kind of like a soft habit stacking. So I've got that to do as well. So I've got my face mask to use. What else did I have? I'll probably have to put in another car wash in the middle of the month as well. Great thing about December is I will have annual leave in December. So I'm just going to check the calendar actually. I'm going to slot that in because I know when I'm off from. So I think a lot of people will be off then. So I'm off from Monday the 22nd. And I'm just going to write AL in big capital letters at the top of each box for all of those days, because it gives me a great satisfaction. So I'll put that in here. AL, AL, AL. Right, so that's great. For the annual leave, I think what I'm going to do is spend a bit of time at home, also enjoying my Fairmont membership, because it's one thing using it at weekends and in the evening, but I do feel like it would just be quite nice to spend some like chill time there as well. So that's my annual leave. Let me just go back to November again just to see what else I need to remember. What I need to remember in December. Oh yeah. Getting your Chic together isn't all about face masks and nails. I forgot. Oh dear, yeah, I forgot about this. Now, I'm going to be honest here and just say I didn't do as well with this as what I'd hoped. And that was the Fly Lady method. Dearie me. I done like 2 weeks off it and then I've just kind of flopped a wee bit. So I'm going to try and pick that back up again and get back into that. To be honest with you, I do live on my own, so that in general the house is clean and tidy as we speak right now, but it's more like those deeper clean things that are part of the Fly Lady method that I didn't quite get to. But I know I'm laughing, but also don't want to be too tough on myself about it, because I did get to some jobs in the house that I maybe typically wouldn't have normally anyway. So even though I didn't follow through in every zone, I did actually get quite a bit done, and I did get quite a bit of decluttering done as well. So I'll try not be too tough on myself about it. But what I did do at the start of November was I did schedule in like Fly Lady method, zone 1, zone 2, power hour and all of that. So maybe that's something actually just before the month starts, like even like this afternoon, I could just maybe do a bit of learning about that again as well, because I think one mistake I made was that I didn't do the 30, it's almost like the 30 basics or something like that, so I didn't start with that. So that's that. Now I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that needs to be scheduled in. I don't see anything else actually. I think that'll pretty much be my month. Obviously it will be Christmas and things like that, but it doesn't, Christmas for me is one day. I'm not like, you know, I don't have a massive social calendar or anything like that in December, so I think that's pretty much me, to be honest. So I just need to slot all of this in now. All the stuff that I've just blurted out has to actually go onto the December calendar. So yeah. Anywho, I'll leave it there. It would be interesting to know how you plan your month, if you plan your month, if you do anything, especially from a creative point of view, because I do, like, there are things that I've just mentioned that are quite creative, but also, like, for example, do you have a monthly Pinterest board? Do you create a Spotify list for the month? Like, that's the kind of thing I would like to do and make it more about, I suppose, maybe not habits, but more like rituals that are kind of like leaning into yourself sort of things. So I'd be interested to hear that. Right, I will leave this video here because I'm going to be really selfish and finish off this cup of tea quietly. And I'm going to slot all of this into my calendar, and I will see you for this type of video next month, which will probably be more exciting because actually I think next month I'll do one for January, but I might just do one as like an annual kind of plan as well. So I'll see you in the next one.